Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I am Len D'Amico, and today it is a Sunday afternoon, and I am so grateful to have the Columbus socialite, music enthusiast, all-around great guy, a friend of mine, Dennis Kelley II. DK2, there's only one. Dennis, how are you today?
Good afternoon. I'm doing wonderful here atop the beautiful tower in downtown Columbus, D'Amico Towers.
Well, it's, Beth and I share. So it's Beth. It's, her spirit is stronger here just because she is Megabeth.
Megabeth Towers.
And
that's where we're at, Megabeth Towers.
I do love being here, though. It's a good place to live, and we're blessed. We've been here 2 years. It's hard to believe, but it's a lot of fun, man. I'm glad you came and hang out today.
The view is gorgeous. That skyline, you wake up, you're looking right at it. Columbus is saying, good morning. It's gorgeous. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So, I don't know how to describe Dennis. The first time I met Dennis, I was in, here's another connection to Jimmy King, right?
The legendary Jimmy King.
And, I met you through your enthusiastic support for the band Kings of the Drinks back in the day. Mm-hmm. Jimmy King's, I think initial Columbus, Ohio, local music effort. Just a fabulous time. We've talked about Jimmy's his that particular band in the past with Brian Weibel, who fronted the band. Mm-hmm. But there was always Dennis Kelley II out there supporting the band. What's your connection to Jimmy?
Jimmy, I was trying to remember this too. Jimmy, I think I met him either right before or right after I got out of the hospital in 2011. I don't remember the first time I met him. He had some literature on ulcerative colitis that I was going through, but I don't remember how I met him. I don't remember when I met him, but I remember he was coming up with this band called Kings of the Drink, and I'd seen some pictures of 5 guys in fedoras, long shirts and ties, and I said, that's my jam. I don't know what they play. I don't care. I like the look. I'm going to see them. And I was very happy that I did. Super band. And they had a guitarist at some point of the Italian variety that I took a shining to, yes.
Yeah, man.
Great band, good times.
We had fun.
All the songs were about drinking.
They were. Yeah. Drinking, partying, having a good time. Mm-hmm. Kind of the bad boys of Columbus, Ohio, having a good time. It was a huge learning experience for me on a number of fronts. Mm-hmm. And I'm always appreciative of Jimmy King, for the late night conversation. I was always the first to arrive, and I was always the last to pack up my stuff and get out of there. And Jimmy was right there with me. And, the rule always was, and I think to this day, Jimmy will employ that you're going to leave the place better than when we came. You clean up your stuff. Don't leave your set list laying around. And so it was always me and Jimmy sweeping that stage at the end. But I love it. I think it was, someone like yourself who was enthusiastic about, being a part of supporting what we were doing and being there and being a personality of that variety, made it fun.
I try to get to know everything that I can about a band or whatever it is that I'm interested in. I remember the website, and I remember the story of the band members. They had a father who was well-traveled, and he had all these sons that eventually found each other and put together this band, Kings of the Drink.
It was great. He's so creative. But, you're a creative guy.
sometimes,
You have a lot going on.
there's always a project, Currently, I have a podcast. And I was told by my co-host I had to mention the podcast. So that's what I'm in right now. It's called Club Tropicana at the DK Lounge. You can find us on Instagram at Club Shanna DK. That's a new venture. We've put out a couple of episodes that have been really fun. So that's the latest creation.
I've listened to your first couple of episodes. They're hilarious. You guys have a good time.
We have a great time. These conversations that we have are no different than the conversations we have at work. We find ourselves, cracking up laughing, making each other laugh, and we decided, well, why don't we record this stuff? See if it's fun, and it is.
The topics, I'm sure, are going to be just absolutely entertaining.
It's just a variety of stories. Our tag is True Tales of the Thespian and the Lesbian.
Yes.
That's who we are, and we've got a lot of stories, and we love telling them to people. So.
Well, like I said, man, I enjoy the podcast that you guys are doing. What is the name of it, and where's it sported? Which platforms are they?
Club Tropicana at the DK Lounge, and you can get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. There's some smaller platforms I can't remember, but those are the big four.
Yeah. I figured out how to pop out there too. It's a little involved, but once you kind of do the research, you get out there, and when you do an episode, if you have the right distributing software support, it's magic. It just pops out there.
I got on, what's it called? RSS. And I just got a subscription there because it's RSS will ship it out to Spotify and Apple and all that stuff for you. And I thought, well, the less work, the better. Shannon's busy enough. I didn't want to put too much work into it. I wanted it to be fun. So that's the route that I went.
That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And speaking of fun, you founded something called the Columbus Gentlemen's Suit Society, and he's shaking his head. I'm not sure he wants to talk about this, but I got to tell you,
no,
man.
It's good.
Okay, so we're gonna go into this. Like, what was the inspiration for that?
The inspiration.
And you did found that, correct?
I did.
Or was it with a consortium of?
That was my brainchild.
Gentlemen.
And I had some friends that it was just supposed to be a bunch of guys that like getting dressed up in suits and having dinner or brunch or whatever. That was it. And I had a couple of buddies that we got together once. And we promoted it. There was a Facebook page for it. There might still be. I don't know. And then I got this idea. It was 2013. Mentally, I was kind of screwed up anyway. And I was looking for something to do that was maybe bigger than me. I don't know. I needed to, after getting out of the hospital, I like anybody else, you think, okay, I'm lucky to still be walking, What I have isn't all that serious, but you feel lucky. And then you realize other people aren't. And I thought, let me use this Suit Society group and make it all about charities. Good idea at the time, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Like anything, right? Like you don't know what's going on there, and then sometimes it works out. Sometimes it's too much.
Yeah. As far as what we accomplished, our very first thing was for a group called the Little Hercules Foundation, and that was childhood muscular dystrophy. And
Anne Marie. Right?
Anne Marie Dennison.
She was our contact.
Anne Marie Dennison was the workhorse,
and she was a roller girl at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She became kind of the co-pilot of the whole society thing. But her and I worked on that with the people from the foundation. We set up this huge fundraiser. You were there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the name of the club. It was like off Dublin Road or something like that. And it was a bigger place. And we had comedians. We had an improv troupe. We had a silent auction. Maybe a few other things I don't remember. But it was a massive, massive deal. And we raised about $9,000 at this little event,
Indeed.
which was great.
Yep.
Now, that's the good part of it. While the event was going on, and maybe you noticed this too, the performers that were getting on stage, they weren't really mentioning the Little Hercules Foundation. Everybody was like, we want to thank the Suit Society for putting us on. And I'm standing out there hearing that, and I'm like, no. It's not us. It's the foundation,
Right.
It's the kids, not us, There was one comedian, and I don't remember his name, but he might have been high. He was like really amped up. He was doing a lot of shouting from the stage. He spots me. He knows who I am. He brings me on stage, and he tells the crowd, this is the brains behind the whole thing. This guy right here. Everybody give him a big hand. And I'm crumbling. Crumbling. Later on, everybody who stayed was pissed drunk. And I was like, well, that's fine. Everybody worked hard. Go ahead. And then we found out that some of the auction items came up missing. And this really good idea and this success of bringing all this money. Now here comes the down part.
The left turn.
The left turn.
Yeah.
Auction items come up missing. There's some disagreements between some people close. And I'm watching all this in front of me, and then it continues for like a week or two. And it hits me. I got to get out.
Mm-hmm.
This was not what I thought it was going to be. And I called Anne-Marie Dennison, and I said, the Suit Society, the Facebook page, all that it is, it's yours. It's yours. I gotta bail.
Yeah, and she ran with it for a little while.
She ran for a little while,
but we didn't see Dennis from that point forward, did we? Or did you? Or
I was still around, but as far as that thing,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
And I kind of, after the dust settled from all that happened there, I thought, Dennis, you can do good stuff for people and not have anybody know about it.
That's true.
You don't have to make a group and say, hey, everybody, look at us, which is exactly how I felt when people were, hey, we want to thank the Suit Society. And when the comedian brought me up on stage, I thought you don't have to create a group to go out and do good. Just shut your mouth, do good quietly, and don't ever let anybody know about it.
Good for you.
So the Suit Society was the last of the stuff like that I put together.
I did enjoy that, though, and I brought it up because I appreciated being a part of it, being a part of the group that got the text that said, suit up, we're meeting at X or Y place at this time, and all of us would put on our suits and go hang out. And nobody was wearing suits.
That part of it I liked.
During that time, and I loved that about that group. And, I felt that doing some charity work at times was just I was totally on board. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but I look okay in a suit.
You look great in a suit.
I like to wear a suit.
Especially when you got a guitar dangling, Suit rock. Not everybody likes suit rock. I love suit rock,
When I write music, it's under the label Martini Rock, right? Because it's the kinder, gentler, melodic background music for your cocktail party is kind of the concept. But there'll be different flavors coming in the future. But I am typically wearing a suit, doing that stuff. It's fun.
I still suit up sometimes, if the weather's right.
Yeah, you should. You look fantastic in a suit. And if you don't believe me, look at your Instagram presence. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of suit pics in there, man.
There's a lot of good suit pictures. And I've also been blessed, though. There's the Suit Society. Do you remember meeting at Sidebar?
Of course I do.
That's where the whole damn thing was born. Mm. We were talking about it. And again, I don't know, Len.
Oh, time out. Not the initial meeting that you had with I think it was Sean and some of the suit guys and Jimmy. I think that initial was one that I wasn't a part of yet, but I saw pictures, and I think I reached to Jimmy King and said, "Man, what's the Suit Society about?" And I think that's when he texted you, and I sent Jimmy a picture of myself in a suit and said, "Hey, I'd like to apply." And do you remember your response?
I don't remember that. No.
Oh, he's in.
Oh, he's in?
I was like, yeah, man. It was good. It felt good to be,
I remember meeting at Sidebar. It was my 40th birthday. And that's where the plan, I gave everybody an envelope with 2 cards. And I said, on one card, I want you to write the name of a charity you want us to support. And on the other card, a local business. And
I may have been to that.
You were at that one. Okay. You were the first one to show up after me because we had the entire second floor.
Of course.
We had the entire second floor to ourselves. I didn't rent it. They just gave it to us.
Because we looked good.
I guess we looked good. I don't know. But, yeah, that was the birth of what I thought, this is a great idea.
Yeah, you were so excited.
A month or 2 later, this is a horrible idea.
Wow.
But you don't know unless you try, I guess.
Marie did some stuff, though, for a while.
She still did. She still did quite a bit of charity work, and she's probably still doing charity work. Because she really enjoys that, and she's great at it.
I know. Yeah. She's a
great organizer.
She's a project management professional. She's deeply involved in the local chapter of the Project Management Professional, the PMP, PMI organization. It's a global organization for project management. I'm a part of that more as a practitioner, okay, as a project manager. But yeah, she has those skills, and she's really, really good. Mm-hmm. And I wish she was still doing rollerball. Although, is rollerball still a thing in Columbus, Ohio?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, like anything else, though, you reach a point where it's like, I think she was feeling that it was time to stop doing that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, more on Dennis Kelley II, right? Like music.
On this very special episode.
Music. This is a very special episode. It's a special day. You're one of those guys, Dennis, that you meet and you're like, there's something about this guy that I really like. He's a good dude.
We were talking about this beforehand. Define DK2, define Dennis Kelley. And I was like, I can't even define him. I'm a guy who goes places. I'm a guy who talks to people. I'm a guy who just takes advantage of opportunities. And in doing that, I just, be available. I tell everybody, be available. Good times can happen, That's just, the old term, a good time Charlie. Do you remember that? Maybe that's the best way to define it. I don't know.
Well, usually if you're in a good place out somewhere and you look around, you'll see Dennis Kelley there. Because that's the place to be. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you make it so. You're part of that. Part of that event.
I try to be a part of everything. I don't want to lead anything. I just want to participate. And it's in that your life feels more complete when you're out participating rather than sitting at home.
Absolutely. So for music, then, you're a huge music enthusiast. You started getting involved in some way with music. How and where?
Okay, the very first memory I have for a love of music was in the back seat of my mom and dad's 75 Chevelle. And I'm 5, 6 years old maybe. The first time I heard What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. It was just the rhythm. That was the first time I discovered rhythm. I'm like 6 or something like that. I don't know. I discovered rhythm. And I used to want to try to keep the beat with the rhythm. And you know how I did it? I'm in the back seat, and I would bang the back of my head off the seat. And I couldn't understand the words, but I'm doing that and everything.
Hey, did you invent headbanging? I mean, what are we?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're doing?
Maybe. Maybe that was the beginning of that. I don't know. But I would smack the back of my head off the seat to the beat of What a Fool Believes by the Doobie Brothers. That's my first memory of music. Wow. And then, being embarrassed if we were at a red light and I looked over and there was another car full of kids going, what the hell are you doing? And after that, it was, I found my voice in church choirs.
Oh, good.
A lot of people find their voice in church choirs because there's nowhere else to sing. Certainly in the 70s and 80s. You're a kid growing up, you're in church. And I actually traveled with a church choir in the late 80s, early 90s. We went all over the state of West Virginia, going to different churches. And it was kind of cool. You'd stay at somebody's house overnight, which, try doing that now, It was a good way to get to know other kids from around the state, other people from around the state. After that, there was nothing in music except going to concerts and all that until around 2000 when I came to Columbus and discovered karaoke.
Yeah. So how did you discover that singing in Columbus, in the venues that you attended?
The karaoke thing, I worked with a friend. Her name was Emily Hesselbein, and she told me about this place off Broad Street, Donrick's Pub, the old Donrick's Pub. They had karaoke, and she knew that I sang. We both loved bands. We saw U2 together in 2001, but she took me to this Donrick's Pub place, and they had a little karaoke show, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get up in front of people. And then I talked myself into it. And they had a little stool and a little screen in front of it. And I sat on this stool, hid behind the screen, and I did Come Undone by Duran Duran. And that started the whole damn thing.
You were singing.
I was singing.
And we're going to sing later in the podcast a song, a favorite of yours, right?
We're going to sing a big song. Yeah.
Can't wait.
Celebrate probably my favorite vocalist.
Oh, and I feel honored that you would ask me to accompany you on the guitar. It's good stuff.
Hey.
It's a fun song to play.
Who other than Guido King would you want on guitar if you're gonna really sing, And it might be a little bit different for people, everybody, this is all rock band and everything, and I'm about to drop some R&B.
Can't wait. I can't wait. We'll get there.
Wait.
We'll get there. We'll dangle that carrot on the episode. We'll do that song at the end.
Okay.
Yeah. So you hit Donrick's Pub, and what are some of the other places that you would karaoke, and who were you hanging with at the time? That you can admit to.
All right. Put your seatbelt on.
I can't wait.
We went to Donrick's one time, and they canceled the karaoke show. The lady didn't show up. So somebody had heard about this other place called the Jitterbug Cafe. Sounds like really, hip and happening for 20-some-year-olds, right? It was just up the street. And what the Jitterbug Cafe was, maybe some of the listeners know about it already, but it was more of a dance club for older people. On Friday nights, Saturday nights, an older crowd would get there, and it would be packed. It was a popular place back in the day. But on Thursdays and Sundays, they had karaoke. So this was a Thursday, and didn't have it at Donrick's Pub, so we drove over to the Jitterbug Cafe. And the guy that did the show, his name was Ronnie Bauman. He had this big studio system. that he brought with him. And we heard a couple of singers, and it was like you were at a concert. And you're like, oh my God, I want to sing. I want to sing. So, yeah, I did a couple of songs that night, met a few new people, and just bonded instantly. And for the next, I think that place was open for another 3 years, 4 years maybe. We went pretty much every Thursday, and there was about 7 of us that were singers. We're actually pretty good singers. And we would turn up every week, and we found that there was a big group of people who had a bowling league. They were in a bowling league. And they would turn up after their games were over just to get some drinks and hear us sing. It was like we were putting on a little show for them. So that was fun.
For sure.
That was the musical part of the Jitterbug Cafe.
Okay. What else was going on, man?
There were 4 of us. And I don't want to say we ran the place, but, we always competed for the girls. And there was Sean Durnan, who, he was like the metal singer. Yeah, he did all the hard stuff, I was kind of the balladeer. You had Eric behind the bar, who was just, he was just a really sweet guy. He was behind the bar. He was this little guy, long hair, and he was soft-spoken, friendly, just got along with everybody. Big Barry Manilow fan, okay? And he always gave me my Pepsis for free. I know. This was before I was drinking. So, yeah, he was cool. And then to round out the group, there was Ashley the Coke dealer. And I don't remember his last name. Don't even know if he's still alive. But Sean would get upset if a girl that he had the hots for paid attention to one of us more than him. And he came up with the name for this group of 4 people, the Cock Blockers Club. Which is not necessarily true. We weren't really, stabbing each other in the back for anything, but Sean came up with that name. I almost had shirts printed up.
Wow.
And, yeah.
It became unnecessary for the shirt because everybody in that place knew.
Everybody knew
who you were and what you were up to.
Everybody knew what everybody was up to, Sean might be singing for somebody, and then 20 minutes later I'd be back in the abandoned kitchen with her making out, They had a kitchen back there, but they hadn't served food in years. That was the makeout spot, But once Ashley showed up, all bets were off.
Oh.
Nobody wanted the music.
King Blocker.
King Blocker. Nobody wanted to hear the music. Nobody wanted to go home and have sex. They wanted the Coke.
Oh. Gotcha.
Ashley came and found somebody that we were both talking to. I'm in the kitchen in the middle of a makeout session with her. Okay? He comes in and says, "Are you ready?" She's gone. She's gone. She took off. Mid-lip lock. He comes in and says, "Are you ready?" She leaves with him. Now that's power. Just thought, you son of a bitch with your Coke.
Game over.
Game over, And these were nice women, too. Women that you might want to date.
Yeah.
You wanted to get to know.
Go see a concert.
Yeah.
Grab it, get some dinner and drinks and whatever.
But with Ashley around, forget it,
The power of what he was up to.
The power of the powder.
Yeah. Well, it was that time of, there's a lot of that out there still. Yeah. I think,
He took one from me at the end of 2001. Really nice girl, Melissa. Posted a few pictures of us on my Instagram today. She had a nice job. She was a sweet girl. And we hung out a couple of times. We went to see Prince. And spare the details from the previous talk. We'll just say we went to see Prince, and it was a good time. But it wasn't long after that we exchanged Christmas gifts, and then I didn't hear from her for a couple of weeks, and I was asking some of the others, has she been around? What's going on? She lost her job, and she just disappeared. And I didn't see her for like 2 more years after that. And guess who she was hanging around with, Lynn? Ashley, the coke dealer.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got another one.
Wow.
Like, Jesus.
Wow. He just keeps popping up.
That was 2004. And everybody's pretty much went their separate ways, living different lives now. But, God, there's a lot of stories from the old Jitterbug Cafe.
You want to drop another one?
The other makeout session was outside. the makeout spot was, if you left, there was a section of trees that was in front of another building, and it was just dark and secluded enough, Yeah.
Sure.
Where you could get acquainted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the spirit of nature.
In the spirit of nature and, just experiencing the world together.
Natural occurrences around you.
Yes.
And between you.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I love these days of yesterday, they come back, they haunt us sometimes. Sometimes they put another smile on the face, but the thing is, you're out there living, right?
I was always happy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the 4 of us, the Cock Blockers Club, is just hilarious because it wasn't really true, but it was a funny name that Sean gave us, And Eric behind the bar, he didn't have to do anything. He was the bartender. Everybody loves the bartender, And he ended up dating a couple of nice girls too, He was the only one that Ashley couldn't outdo. And it was because of his personality. Eric had the personality, and probably still does.
Slinging and
drinks.
Bartending, yeah. Doing his thing. I've met some fun bartenders in my day.
Giving me my Pepsis for free. And he let me, every now and then I'd have a song where if people were getting into it, I'd notice, and I'd jump on top of the bar and start singing. I'd march on top of the bar. Yeah. I got a picture of that on Instagram, too.
So, what are we searching on to get to your Instagram page if we want to follow you, Dennis?
One and only DK2.
One and only DK2. And we're going to put a link to that if you'd like.
Oh, absolutely.
This episode, this very special episode will live on way past our years.
Through the ages, yeah.
They can see your Instagram and all these adventures and all these pictures that you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'll post more from the old Jitterbug Cafe.
I can't wait.
I got a lot more. Maybe Thursday is coming. Maybe I'll treat you guys to the old red leather pants.
I think you need to do that. And there's only 10 years between us, we discovered today.
Yeah.
I'm in a place where the gratefulness is just overwhelming me. Yeah. And you had shared that with me as well with this milestone birthday. It's good stuff. So being out there, sounds like you had some fun times with your karaoke friends, meeting new friends. In Columbus, Ohio, you also have seen a lot of live music. Has anything crazy happened? Any stories you want to share in regard to some of those experiences?
Not a whole lot of crazy stories, but yeah, there's some great bands that I've been around, that I've been lucky enough to see, members I got to know. Kings of the Drink, the Martini Affair. I'll drop anything to go see the Martini Affair. I'll take time off work to go see the Martini Affair.
It's a great time.
That's a great time. I met Sean Hader and Rob Ravindran from My Kid Sister, and they have Headbangers Hangover now. That's a great band. I do have one story from that era, if you want crazy stories.
don't know if you want to go there.
No. It's all right.
Okay.
It was a My Kid Sister show, and it was at what was it? The Crown, some lounge over in Hilliard off New Rome Road. But it was around the end of the show, and everybody was tearing down, and there was this really, really drunk guy there, and he was starting to get violent. And outside, we're all kind of standing outside, and this guy's out, and he brings a beer bottle with him, throws it at the window, the picture window, shatters it, right? Well, Sean's in his car. They're getting ready to leave, and he had a Mazda MX-5, the convertible. This guy jumps in the back of the car, and Sean's kind of like throwing elbows trying to get him out, and we told him, just take off, just floor it, and he did, and the guy jumped out. He ran down the street, and we ended up calling the cops on him. And you think, why? You've ever met Sean Hader?
I have.
You'd think, why him? He's
the
so
coolest
laid back,
dude, man. I mean, he's a killer bass player.
Oh, he is.
His gear.
He's got the Gene Simmons
and his attire.
He's got the Gene Simmons axe. Yeah.
That and others, right? Like his gear and his closet for stage is just top notch, and his play is incredible. Yeah. They're the true heartbeat of any quality band.
Yeah. So there were those bands. Sibling Rivalry was where I met Ty Barnes, the legendary Ty Barnes, who seems to be in a different show every night. He's just he's a great lover of music.
He is, and he's so supportive of others. And he's going to do a podcast too. I think it'd be fun to learn more about Ty, because we see him everywhere, to your point. But who is Ty? And get a little glimpse, I think, on social media with his family, and it's awesome. He's an awesome guy.
I met him through Sibling Rivalry, which I believe they were the last time that I was ever on stage with a band. And I think that was at the end of 2013. It's been that long. So yeah, Ty, and I met the Reinhardt sisters. That was their band. And of course, Jenna's in the Martini Affair now, Stadium 11 is a great band. And there's, God, I'm an old fan of the Menus, I think everybody is, I think we talked about before this. I went to see them in the Brewery District, and the singer had a skateboard, and he decided to put it in, on the floor, and he skated through all of us and everything. And it just, I like a showman that'll just give you 150%. How do I just entertain these people, other than just singing? What else can I do? Stuff like that. So I kind of took to them.
For sure. Time flies on these podcasts. This thing's going to click off here in a little bit. But anything else you want to share with your enthusiasm toward Columbus? You were involved in the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Columbus Blue Jackets. That was probably the last musical project that I had. There was a podcast called Distinct Kicking Motion Podcast, DKM for short, and they were big Saturday Night Live fans, as I am. And they would write these parody songs based on a player, based on a coach, whatever. And I did several of those. And then we would turn around and do them live at fan festivals. So that was the last thing that I did in music. That was 2015. And then I moved to Florida. Didn't really want anybody down there knowing that I sang. I wanted a fresh life, And then I came back here. And that's... and until today, there's been no music for about 8 years. And what better place than here with Guido King on top of Megabeth Tower?
There's a lot of cool people that live in the tower. Yeah. Megabeth is one of the coolest. There's no question about it.
There's some Blue Jackets that used to live here. Yeah.
There might be some that still are.
This is kind of where they go before they get that big contract so they can get the house. You know.
They moved to Chicago. They moved to some of the bigger hockey towns. Buffalo. I don't think they do have hockey, don't they? It's good stuff. And we can see some of your antics primarily on your Instagram.
On that Instagram, one and only DK2.
Yeah.
That's
You're in my feed every day, man. So it's usually a really good either remark, funny statement, or personal experience that everyone can relate to. It's almost like a Seinfeld episode, only it's better.
I started that account just to make sure my mother knew I was still alive, because I jumped off Facebook in 2004. I'd had enough of that. I kind of had a sports Twitter, but, moms are moms. How are you? Are you okay? Da, 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 da. And the Instagram page was basically just to tell her, yep, I'm okay, and here's what I'm doing. I'm enjoying life. It's all documented for you, Mom. Love you, Mom.
And if she ever wants to reminisce, she can always go there and just click through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes she sees a picture of herself that she was like, did you have to post that?
My mom was here the week of July 4th, and she stayed for a week, and it was awesome. It's awesome to have your mom come. And then, I don't know about you, but it's also funny to feel like you're 12 when your mom visits, and have that feeling of, is she yelling at me, or what did I do?
Yeah.
But we loved having her here. It was great. It was fantastic. It was a great visit. It's good for the soul when that happens.
Yeah. My mom loves Columbus. She loves coming up here. I took her to Sidebar once. She had a couple of drinks there. Didn't realize how strong they were.
Is Sidebar? Is it still there?
Still there. Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites. I don't think Beth and I have been there together. Probably separately. Pre-meeting each other, but.
Go there.
Sidebar. I love Sidebar.
Go there for dinner. Find Tirsa, the manager, and tell her Dennis said hello.
Okay. And do you go there still?
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I go everywhere that I can in this city. New places, old places. I rediscovered the Short North when I came back in 2020. Places like Del Mar and stuff like that. If it's classy and I can dress up a little bit, I'll go.
And are you still drinking martinis and,
I had to give up vodka because the colitis, the vodka was twisting me around. And I was like, oh, okay. I switched to bourbon. And now, I'm Don Draper. I drink old fashioned.
Just as classy as a martini. Maybe classier,
A little bit more manly,
I think so.
I had a lot of apple martinis back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And nobody... every second or third person really knew how to make it too.
I'm predictable when it comes to a martini. I'll only drink one. Like, I'm not a 7 martini guy.
Oh no.
I'll sip a martini before dinner with Beth or whatever, and we'll hang out, or I'll mix them here. I've done that, but I'm very predictable. I'm cut of one, shaken, not dirty, with blue cheese stuffed olives, and I just do that, and it's like a liquid salad. And, it's a nice little appetizer.
If it's delicious, it works.
But I just do one, don't get too crazy. And, well, sometimes I'll do a second one after some time has passed. But martinis, we were kind of a part of that scene of the Central Ohio Gentlemen's Suit Society. Brings me back to DK2.
Martinis, it was bourbon,
Suits.
But that was, that was after mojitos. I wasn't drinking mojitos anymore then.
The suit brought about a different desire.
It did.
In regard to beverage.
If I'm wearing a suit, you're sure to see me with a bourbon, with an old fashioned, orange peel hanging out.
That's awesome. Awesome. Well, your music enthusiasm is catchy and it's fun, and it's good to have you around, man. I mean, hopefully, we'll see more of you out there where there's the event. There's Dennis Kelley II, the one and only.
The one and only. There is only one. We were planning this, right? And I hadn't sung in like 8 years. And it's like I'm getting that itch. That itch is starting to come back.
Okay.
You know.
Well, let's maybe we can launch that here today.
Maybe we can.
I think we should give that a shot now.
This salute to the one and only George Michael.
Awesome.
Who passed away Christmas Day 2016. And real brief, if we have time?
We have time.
He passed away. I was in West Virginia with the family. And I looked at my phone, and it's all over Twitter. I'm like, oh my God. So when I came back, I went to the 94th Aero Squadron. They had a karaoke show there for a while. And I was going to go there, open the book, and just sing nothing but George. Nothing but his, smooth jazz stuff, right? Well, there was a table full of kids, and somebody put in one of his songs, and they were playing around with it, joking, and they're having a good time. And I was like, I'm not going to kill that vibe. I shut the book, finished my beer, and went home. And I never sang again. And now here we are. Here we are.
It sometimes happens, though,
Yeah. And this is a good way to do it.
The good thing about music, it can always come back to you. You can re-engage, press the reset button, and move forward.
Yep. And this, to do it in a studio is preferred, When I did karaoke, I preferred somebody who had a big sound system. Otani Japanese Restaurant, that was the last place, that I did karaoke regularly. Arnel Damasco was always there singing something, And this song it's been my favorite from the Listen Without Prejudice album. I've been singing it ever since it came out in 1990. It's called Waiting for That Day. I used to do it at Otani. People would kind of stop what they were doing and listen to it. And I'm jacked. I'm jacked to the tits to do it today.
I'm just as happy to accompany you with this.
I'm glad I got you.
Well, let's get on it, man.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you. This has, been a pleasure chatting with Dennis Kelley, the second, the one and only DK2.
Yes.
And I think that, we'll pause for a moment and we'll get right into this this cover song. It means a lot to Dennis, and it means a lot to me to accompany him. So we hope this works out for everyone, and we appreciate everybody listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So every day I see you in some other face. They crack a smile, talk a while, try to take your place. My memory serves me far too well. I just sit here on this mountain thinking to myself, you're a fool, boy, why don't you go down, find somebody else. My memory serves me far too well. It's not as though we just broke up. It's not as though it was yesterday. But something I just can't explain, something in me needs this pain. I know I'll never see your face again. Come on now, I've got to be strong now. Now everybody's talking about this new decade. Like you say the magic numbers, then just say goodbye to the stupid mistakes you made. Oh, my memory serves me far too well. Oh, don't you know that the years will come and go? Some of us will change our lives, some of us will still have nothing to show. Nothing, baby, but memories. And if these wounds, they are self-inflicted, I don't really know how my poor heart could have protected me. If you will not carry this flame, if you will not share the blame, I deserve to see your face again. Come on now, you don't have to be so strong now. Come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back, come back. Oh, come back to me, darling. I will make it worth your while. Come back to your baby. I miss your kiss, I miss your smile. Seems to me the peace I search to find, it ain't gonna be mine until you say you will. Don't you keep me waiting for the day. I know, I know, I know you hear these words that I say. I know, I know, I know, I know. Oh, here we go now. You can't always get what you want. No, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you